Okay, today we're learning Gemara Pesachim Daf Kuf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Omar le Rav lechia brei. Rav told Chia his son, Lastishte Sama, don't, he says, drink some. Some basically could be a drug, a medication. So the Rashi brings two pirushim. One, he says, Lo sishte sama, lo tilmad lishte samim. That's talking about drugs according to this. Now we'll see if it talks about legal or illegal drugs. Mipnei shetikva lo veses ve'libcho shoyalcho utvazer moes. Looks like from this Rashi, from the first pirush of Rashi, it talks about drugs which is illegal drugs, which is meaning it's not official medication. It's a medication. But the reason for it is that the first place we see in Shas, they talk about against consuming drugs. Because he says, because if you take them, they might argue we have some benefits, but he says, shetikva lo'em veses. Veses, it means, literal translation of the word veses, stomach, but it means you're going to have a habit for them. You're gonna create a habit for them. Basically, you're going to be addicted to them. And you're going to go and demand what you got used to already, your habit, your addiction, and you have to spend a lot of money, and sometimes you don't have the money for it. So that's why Rav told Chia, his son, don't get used to it. And by the way, Ada Yom, there is some Arab countries over there, by the Yemenites even, there is such a thing, consuming some drugs. That's a normal thing. Some countries people smoke cigarettes, and I don't know, we don't have to go that far away to the Arab countries. We could see right here in America, it become normal. So it become something now, even legalized. Oh, now you can ask you if it's illegal. Rashi, I mean, I added this word illegal. Now it might be even legal. It doesn't mean, it's not the nekuda legal, illegal. The nekuda over here, if it's not something you need for medication, and soon we're going to see the second pirush, what happened with the medication. If it's something you need for healing, and something you don't, it's not a necessity to you, don't do it, because you might create a cravings for it. You might create a habit for it, addiction for it, and then you're not gonna be able to afford it. That's one pirush. The second pirush, lishna achrina. That's all from Rashi. Lote rogil lishta samamonim. Now we're talking about before he used the word samim. Samim meaning drugs. Now samamonim, it talks about medication. Look why I'm saying this, because the Omar, there's a Gemara before that Manbei saying, Kulu shakyana demale lahai kosher lahai. A lot of the medication they're good for one, and they're bad for something else. I mean, they're giving you side effects. That's why. So what's the pshat? Don't take even medication you need. So the Meforshim explain, if you could get away without medication, try very much to go without medication. If you could. If you have to, then you have to. But if you could get away without medication, try, because a lot of times the medication have side effects. Mashenken, if you fight it yourself, if your system overcomes the sickness, you're not going to have the side effects. Now, the Ben Yahu Ben Yehoyada, the Ben Ishchai, is a beautiful pirush on it. That talks about now the second pirush of Rashi, that he talks about medication. He says, don't take medication if you don't have to. So it says like this. If you see you start feeling not well with some kind of sickness, it says, don't hurry to take the medication. Basically, your medication is waging a war on your sickness. Your medication, fighting the sickness. Says before you go on a war, that says in the pasuk, when you go out on a war in a city, it says before you start the war, see if you could do it in a peaceful way, come to some agreement. Same thing with your sickness, it says, before you wage a war on your sickness, try to make it in a peaceful way. Well, now, what's the pshat peaceful way? Shetase hachonas tivius lishmaras atzmecha min hachoyli. Make natural things that you could prevent the sickness. And mitzad achila, whether by eating good, and mitzad ha'ishira v'amenucha, by relaxing, v'amokim v'kayotza b'zeh, the right environment. V'ulai yelecha ze'ezer l'refuah tivis v'lo tetzarech l'shtes sam legamre. Maybe you could heal yourself in a natural way, in a holistic way, in a prevention way, making yourself stronger, rather than taking medication, which is taking medication, it's fighting with the sickness. Yeah. So that's what he says. But before you, even we're talking about even the medication, if there is a way to deal with your healing without medication, it's better. Obviously, when you cannot. You need to take medication. So according to this, like I said, we see the first place of here in place in Shas that drugs definitely that it's not medication, it's not necessity. Stay away because it may make a habit, and Rav tells his son, then you won't be able to afford it. And even the real medication that you need for healing, if you could do a natural way, it's better. If you cannot, then you take the medication. Okay. Now the Gemara says over here, Omar Rav Yochanan, Shloisha Noichle Olam Haba. 3 people that would inherit Olam Haba. Ve'eluhen Ador be'Eretz Yisrael. Whoever lives in Eretz Yisrael. It's a big thing to be in Eretz Yisrael. And the Pnei Yeshua said, Dor be'Eretz Yisrael does not mean like some people think Adayoim, and there's something people looks like at the time of Pnei Yeshua, some people talk like this. If I go to Eretz Yisrael, I could live a hefker life that's on its own. Living in Eretz Yisrael will take care of all my spiritual needs. Like I'm like I have a green card to Elam Haba. No, he says only if you do it mitzad a mitzvah shabazah yishu ba'oretz, and you keep all the mitzvahs and you live over there. Then it says you ben Elam Haba. Second thing is v'amagadol bonov l'talmud Torah. Somebody he teaches his children to learn Torah. We spoke about it once that the difference between the tefillah and Torah. Tefillah has to do with the place. That's why no matter where you are, if the daven towards Eretz Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael towards Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim towards Beis Hamikdash, and Beis Hamikdash towards Kodesh HaKadoshim, all the Gemara and Bracha says, all tel piyos, mokim shkola piyos pointim sham, all the mouths have to go through Yerushalayim. Davening is over the space, it's Yerushalayim. So the first thing the Gemara brings, the mile of space. Ador be'Eretz Yisrael. If you live in Eretz Yisrael, that holy space, and it says on the Pnei Yeshua, you become Torah mitzvahs, you ben Olam Haba. But then, the Torah, the Indian of Torah, it's not limited to space. And the best proof for it, the Torah was not given to us in Eretz Yisrael. We got the Torah in Har Sinai, it's not Eretz Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu never married to Eretz Yisrael. And even the Torah Shabbal Peh, the main Torah Shabbal Talmud Bavli, was done in Bavel. So the Torah was never given to Eretz Yisrael to teach us. The Torah is not limited to space. No matter where you are, you could connect to Hashem through Torah. You don't have to go through Eretz Yisrael. It's above space. So that's the Gemara brings both. Rabbi Yochanan brings both of them. There's a mile in Eretz Yisrael that's Bechinas Tefillah. So if you go to Eretz Yisrael, then there's a mile in Talmud Torah which is above space. So Magadol Bonav La Talmud Torah, wherever you are, you teach yourself, you teach your children Torah. Mavdil Alayayim. B'motzei Shabbos. And by the way, this Inyan Mavdil Yain al Motzei Shabbos that you ben Olam Haba, there's many pirushim on it. So the Gemara itself says, Mahi, what's the mila of a Mavdil al Yain Motzei Shabbos? The Gemara says, the Meshayer Mikidusha Lavdalta. You leave something from Kiddush to Avdal. So there's many pirushim. Let's say a person doesn't have enough wine. One pirush is in the morning, if you don't have wine, better make your kiddush on a challah and then leave the wine for Havdalah, because Havdalah you cannot make on the challah. There's another pirush, if you don't have enough wine, don't drink the whole wine during Shabbos, leave some wine from Motzei Shabbos. Okay, there's many pirushim, similar pirushim. But there's another pirush also we brought that's based on the Prisha, where the shiur about this. There's a lot of milas of, even you have enough of wine, there's an Indian to leave a wine from Friday night to Motzei Shabbos, or from Shabbos, or from to Motzei Shabbos, because there's a lot of miles to the wine of Friday night. It says over there, from the Rishonim, they used to, today we don't do that, they used to smear it on their eyes Friday night too, for a zgula, for refuah, and since we don't do that because we don't do refuahs on Shabbos, so if you leave this wine and you mix it with the wine of Motzei Shabbos, you mix a big segula over here, and that's ben elam haba. Also, the Prisha brings that the whole idea of Kiddush on Shabbos, it shows that Shabbos is a special day. Havdalah is the same thing. Doing Havdalah, it shows Shabbos is special. Because saying we're mavdil, we're separate, we put aside Shabbos and the other days. So that's why when you connect the two wine, which is both of them to do with Kiddush as Shabbos, it's ben elam haba. And this concept of Shabbos and Motzei Shabbos, it's an Inyan, again, showing us, we spoke about space and above space, Tefillah at space, Torah is above space, but there is also such a thing, connecting to Hashem through time. Like it says, brought in Sefer Yetzirah, we could connect to Hashem through 3 dimensions. In Rosh Hashanah, Osham, Olam, Shana, Nefesh, through space, Olam, space, Shana, it's time, and Nefesh, it's the soul. The Jewish soul, doing mitzvahs, you connect to Hashem through the soul. So, and over here we're doing, we talk about space over here, that's we said, Eretz Yisrael, Dar Beretz Yisrael, Magad Avon, Talmud Torah, it's in of Nefesh, that you're learning the Torah, that's the neshama of Aid. Without the Torah, it doesn't have anything. And then he says Zman, Shabbos. When you mamshich the inyan of Hashem brought Himself, He connects to you again through space, through time, and through soul. Avdolah Motzei Shabbos has to do with time, because inyan of Shabbos, Hashem. Why was Shabbos is holy? What made Shabbos holy? Because Hashem dwells in time of Shabbos. So it says when you're doing Havdalah, Motzei Shabbos, you're like mamshich, that's inyan of holy Zman to the week. And by the way, that's inyan of Havdalah. The Alter Rebbe in Torah explained, when we're doing Havdalah, we're mamshich from the Kedusha of all this Havdalah, mamshich ben Kodesh l'chol, mamshich from Kodesh l'chol, ben Oyer l'choshech, mamshich from the Oyer to the Choshech, ben Yisrael l'Amim, mamshich from the Kedusha from the Jews to the Amim, ben Shesim ben Shesim Yom HaShvil, Shesim HaMaisen. So you mamshich the inyan of Kedusha of Zman to the week. Again, the Zman of Shabbos is holy. So when you do all this, it says you ben elam haba. When one more, when it then the Gemara says Shloish Omar Rabbi Yechon, Shloish Hakadosh Baruch Hu machriz aleim ba'atzmo b'chol yom. 3 people Hashem announced and then how choshuv they are to Him. Al Ravok Hador Bekrach ve'nechoite. A bachelor, a single man, lives in the city with a lot of, he sees a lot of men, women, and he is not a sinner. And a poor man that returns a lost object to the owners. While Oshir, a rich man, a maaser peiroso betzino, even though his maaser is big, but he does it quietly. Betzino, Hashem says, for those 3 people, I announce on them that they are great to me. So the Anaf Yosef says we cover over here in this Rabbi Yochanan 3 inyanim. One, he says Arava Kadar Be'ir, he says it's inyan of Taiva. He has Taivas. He's a young man. His blood is boiling, and he's not a sinner. Ani, he has Taivas Momen. Ani, he needs money. He's desperate. He doesn't have. And nevertheless, he returned the lost object. He didn't take it to himself. Val Oshir, he says, that's again Taivas covered. Oshir could use covered. He could tell everybody, see, I'm giving so much tzedakah, and you're doing it quietly. Nobody knows how much tzedakah he gives. It says, for those 3 people that have those covered 3 major Taivas. Taivas Aguf, the Ravak, the young man, and the Oni Taivas Moman he has, and the Oshir Taivas are covered, and all of them, the conquering the Yetzirah, and those the things Hashem says for those 3, I'm very, very proud of.